weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. For Monday, partial sunshine, a couple of thunderstorms around late morning on, a high of 89 to 93. Then Monday night, patchy clouds, low 73 to 77. For Tuesday and Wednesday, partly sunny with a thunderstorm around each afternoon, the high on Tuesday and Wednesday from 91 to 95. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Evan Duffy.
All right, thank you. It's 83 degrees here at the studios, and the heat index says it's 90 degrees, so that's the way it goes. All right, in the studio is a man that we've admired and respected for years and years. He was the sheriff of Marion County, but I still refer to him as Sheriff Ed Dean. Ed Dean is in the studio right now, wants to be the sheriff again of Marion County, so it's an honor to say good morning and thank you for coming in, Sheriff.
Well, good morning
I just
to
feel
both you and
calling you Ed.
Larry and Robin. Thank you.
Yeah, it's hard for me to call you Ed.
Just anything. I answer just about anything.
Sheriff
you
Dean,
know.
You're looking really good.
Hey, thanks. Feel great.
You're sharp looking. So what happened in the years since you left the sheriff's office? As an outsider looking in, did you see things that you thought, oh man, I could do it differently? And
well, I had the honor of being sheriff, from 1998 through 2012, and I did not seek re-election. So since that period of time, I've been doing some things like writing some books and doing lectures on teaching on leadership. But in this last year or two, the negativity surrounding the sheriff's office became more than I could really stand. And so after praying about it, I just decided, that I'll put my experience on the table and see what the people say. I feel that the people in the sheriff's office deserve better than all this negativity, and certainly the people of Marion County deserve better. So all we can do is put our experience on the table and say, is this the kind of thing that you'd like to return to the premier, status that the sheriff's office enjoyed? And if so, then vote for me, and we'll be glad to work with the men and women and get back our respect and trust.
Yeah. The first time Robin and I met you was at the inauguration of your first time as sheriff. We hadn't met you before. We were sent over to the sheriff's compound as representatives of the radio station, and we were impressed by your speech. I remember the things you said. But I remember thinking, gosh, what a monumental thing to take on is the sheriff's office. And you did. You took it on. And now it's something that you have experience doing, and you're probably one of the few people who can say that.
Well, it was a great honor to have served, and I did not seek re-election in 2012, but I still have the passion for service, and I think the sheriff's office, can help ratchet up the well-being of so many people, our whole community. Matter of fact, I think our quality of life depends on safety first, and then we can start working on things like education and health and these other things. But without safety, it's pretty tough. If you're afraid to walk your dog in your neighborhood at night, you don't have quality of life. And so I'm really focused on that.
How much of the problems you're seeing on a national scale regarding law enforcement versus the rest of the world do you feel is handleable with public relations? Because you were really good at this. You were really good at making sure the public knew how you felt and how the department felt.
Well, I believe in the team approach, okay, and I believe in servant leadership, and that's what really the books I've been writing about. And that what that means is that I'm here to serve. As a matter of fact, I'm here to serve the men and women of the sheriff's office, and together we'll serve the community. And by doing that, then you have a whole culture based on core values. We know exactly what's permissible, what's not. When you start getting that kind of reputation for a value-centered, servant-led, strategically driven organization, then people start to trust. And I think that's what we need in the country, and we need it here because we've backslidden a little here, and so we really need to focus on building that trust and respect back.
How do you think that could be done? Are there any physical, tangible things you can talk about, like maybe the community, the citizens patrol, that kind of thing? Is that an important part of this?
Yes, all the outreaches are important, and I'm glad to see as I went through the Sheriff's Office website that they kept many of the programs, like the work in lieu of arrest for first-time juvenile misdemeanors and the inmate work farm and some other things like that. But I think the outreach has to be this, is that Sheriff's Office personnel in any engagement with the public needs to be totally with respect and trust. And the way you do that is, first of all, you're at the table in any community issue that's being discussed. While you may not be able to solve that issue, regardless what the issue is, because the Sheriff's Office, and the Sheriff particularly, has mentioned the Constitution of the State of Florida as the conservator of the peace. And to me, that means that anything that's within that umbrella of conserving peace, the Sheriff's Office needs to be at the table. And when you become transparent, and everything you do, all the reports, everything is based on trust and truth, that there's no question of the accuracy, then trust starts to rise up like cream in an old-fashioned milk bottle. And when that happens, then people start to engage the community and engage the Sheriff's Office more and more and more. And that's what you have to do. You just have to make a firm commitment. We are going to be a part of every community decision and discussion, and we're going to be there when it counts. And so I think that's what it's all about. It's not about thumping your chest and say, boy, look at me, I'm the sheriff. It's about, how can I help you?
Yeah.
And with this trust comes caring, and you are an author, sir, and you really write some wonderful books, and caring seems to be at the top of the list.
Well, I think that's where it all starts. I had the opportunity to go to the FBI Academy while I was sheriff for a couple of weeks for a program for sheriffs. And when I walked in, it was Sunday afternoon, it was snowing, it was cold, and I walk into this beautiful building, and I look up and I saw this plaque on the wall, and I was so struck with it, I dropped my suitcases, and it said, people don't care what you know. What people want to know is, do you care? And if people believe you care, they will follow you anywhere. Boy, I wrote that down, brought it home, put it up on the walls. And so, that's really the thrust of some of the things I've written about, because caring then engenders trust.
Yeah. And if you care and you've got something you don't know anything about, you're going to research it.
Oh, yeah.
So the other part of what you have to do is financial. And part of the talk of in the community is the wages of the deputies, the firefighters, et cetera. And I really wouldn't have anything to do with the firefighters. But is the budget of the Sheriff's Office something you want to talk about right now?
Well, sure. When before the Great Recession in 2008, we were going along hiring deputies and giving raises, and things were pretty good, expanding. We built 5 new district offices, a lot of good things, buying cars and equipment, we won the Governor Sterling Award for Performance Excellence in 2008. But then the Great Recession hit, and property values, over the next 5 years after that, they dropped 40% in Marion County. Well, I'm pleased with the team effort that we were able to put together. The Sheriff's Office budget only fell 14% during that period of time. We did not lose one single person. I refused to lay anybody off. Now, that meant postponing a lot of things, but it kept the team together. From here on out, as property values now start rising, for example, this last year it increased 4.3%. So there should be some increase in that budget to make up for these 5 years where it was pretty, Spartan. And so we need to be competitive. And I look at the Sheriff's Office personnel this way. Is 5 years into any position, we need to be at least in the middle of our peer counties, for example, and I'm not talking about the little counties that may surround us, but Manatee County, Brevard County, Escambia County, counties that are our size. And we need to be 5 years in, and we need to have statistically reliable surveys made by outside consultants that tell us that, and then we start these programs to get to that point. That's where you're really competitive.
You do have a website, right? Elected Dean for Sheriff?
Yeah.
Is that right? .com?
Yes.
And if somebody wants to help support you or anything, how do we do that?
Oh, great. Well, yeah, it's on there. They can volunteer, they can donate. We always welcome people to help out. And I'm really thankful for the support we've received thus far. It's been really gratifying. And, we got some good people running. I mean, I've worked with, Dennis McFadden and Kerry Crawford. I promoted each of them twice. These are good people. I don't know Billy Woods that well, but this is not a question of, oh boy, saying something negative about somebody running. It's just about seasoned experience. These are extraordinary times. Matter of fact, if it wasn't so extraordinary, I probably wouldn't be running. I mean, I just feel
That's what I thought when I heard that you were running. I thought there must be something about what's happening right now to make you want to come out of, I don't know that you would consider yourself retired, but retired at least from the sheriff's office.
Well, my wife calls it refire. But no, that's what did it. I just couldn't stand it in my spirit. I feel compelled in my spirit to at least put the experience on the table, because we all deserve better than this, and certainly the people in the sheriff's office deserve better than this. We don't need to read about our sheriff's office in a negative light in the newspaper. We need to read about what good things they're doing. And I think by going back I have a 4-point plan that's really basic, and it's first to restore the trust and respect in the public, and also the employee contentment through these servant leadership practices and principles. It really does work. It's the caring part, because that's the linchpin of servant leadership.
Yeah, right.
And then reestablishing our core values. Unfortunately, for 14 years we used the same core values that guide the Marine Corps. I figured it was good enough for the Marines.
Yeah, right.
It's good enough for us. There were 12 of them, and boy, we really focused on those things, and all of our discipline was tied to it, and we talked about them all the time. And what that does, the organization becomes value-centered. In addition to hiring value-centered people, but the organization, then that builds trust too.
Yeah,
We need to focus on that. All those values were taken off the walls as soon as I left. And I don't know why, but anyway, reinstitute strategic planning too. They've not done any strategic planning for 4 years. And a big organization like that, from everything from the courthouse to the jail to the patrol and everything else in between, you got to be strategic in what the heck you're doing. And you have to empower the people for these creative ideas. And they have the ideas. They know what to do. Then lastly, just recommit ourselves to accuracy and transparency. I mean, if you lie, you can't stay.
How do you do transparency in this day and age? Do you have a website or something? How do we, as the people, use that transparency?
Well, let me say, what you have to do is to have media, for example, total free access to anything they want in the organization, subject only to a pending criminal investigation. For example, we had a sheriff's advisory committee for each year I was there, and they served for 1 year, and there were 12 of them. And they represented the whole community, and we met with them monthly on any decision the sheriff's office was doing. I wanted their input. Well, I gave the media, through the Star Banner, one of those seats, and they picked that person for 14 years. I didn't know who they were going to pick. And that, I think, bridged transparency, because they said, all right, who's your person this year? And they picked some great people. In addition, sheriff's advisory committee members with their honorary deputy sheriff's badge could go into any facility, anytime, in the jail, any time of the day or night, and check things out. For example, some of our minority members, if they had heard to say, somebody said, well, they beat me up or something, I encourage them, go down there and talk to them. And you find out and talk to them yourself. And most of the time, I would say they found out that they didn't tell Mama exactly right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that.
What was, in your years as sheriff, what was the hardest part of that whole experience?
Well, there was one incident, and that was the death of Brian Litz.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It was 2004, and when he was shot down out on 200.
I remember.
And that once that happens to you, you're never the same. I mean, it's just, you care for your people, but boy, when that happens, it ratchets up that level of care and concern. And so you pray for them. And we would encourage you right now all your listeners to encourage the deputies and pray for them. What's going on in this country is crazy. And, we have to have the fabric of safety in America, in our communities. Otherwise, we won't have the America we knew. So that's important, and to keep it from being torn up. And the way to do that is to pray for law enforcement. Law enforcement needs to be responsive to the community, inclusive, transparent, and build bridges of trust. And by doing that, we can have a quality of life here and not be torn apart like a lot of communities are.
Sheriff Ed Dean, thank you for coming in. Real quick personal question, how's your brother?
John?
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
I don't know all your family, but John used to come in here and talk every once in a while. Not here, but the other studio.
Yeah, my brother's doing fine, and he's younger than me, but we have a cattle operation together we've had for 25 years. We don't make any money at it, basically, but we're still in it.
Got a lot of hamburger.
A lot of hamburger, yeah, and so he's doing great, and his wife Sue, and they're good Christian folks, and they help out a lot in the community, and I'm thankful for them. And we got children, they're here, and grandchildren. So all of our families here, Sarah and I and our family, and so we're thankful for them and for their support. John used to play for the University of Florida football years ago, and so he was.
Robert said you go to her church too.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, St. John Lutheran. Yeah, and they're very active in that, and got a new pastor, and he seems to be doing real well, Pastor Shanks. So.
Yes.
You're
he
a good
does.
guy, and we admire and respect you as we always have. It's good to see you, and
Thank you.
And you really are looking sharp. You do have a website, electeddeanforsheriff.com. I'm sorry?
Elect Ed Dean for
Elected.
Sheriff.
Electeddeanforsheriff. Did I say it wrong?
.com. No.
Oh, no, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm
elect
Oh,
Ed
I
Dean
see
for
what you're saying. It looks
Yeah.
like elected.
Right.
Elected Dean for Sheriff,
Yeah,
or elected
yeah,
Ed
yeah.
Dean for Sheriff. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, yes.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. You say, well, why don't you just have Ed Dean for sheriff? Well, I went and when we got time to set this up, somebody had taken it.
Must be another Ed Dean somewhere in this country. Right?
Must be.
Sheriff Dean, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you, and God bless you.
Good luck with everything. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost so much? Well, at AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables.